Okay, this is a video on describing data, and I'm going to show you the whole process using this example. If you need this worksheet, you can get it on my website at caraleemath.com. There are 4 things we want to describe about a data set. We want to describe the shape, the center and spread, and these two go together, and any outliers or unusual features. Okay, so first we'll look at shape and then center in this video. Okay, so here's an example. We have grades on a 3rd exam for a Math 95 class. Were as follows. Make a histogram of the data to determine its shape. So we've made histograms before, and we need to make one again. Otherwise, that's the only way to tell the shape of this data. So let's look for the lowest. 49 looks like the lowest. And what's our highest? 96? Okay, so can we do 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Perfect. It's almost like I set it up that way. If you want to practice, kind of test yourself, you can do it without the video. Just pause it and then start it up or fast forward to the answer. But I'm going to go ahead and go through it. So we've got 2 40s. Oh, here's our frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to write frequency. Or I could write count. Okay, 2 40s. How many 50s? 1, 2. How many 60s? 1, 2, 3. These are not already in order, so it makes it a little bit harder. Okay, how many 70s? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see it taking shape here. How many 80s? 1, 2, 3. Let me underline them. 4, 5. So 5 again. And 90s, we have 2 left. 2 90s. Okay, so that's our histogram. And when we talk about shape, we're looking at kind of the rough shape of this. You could think of connecting the corners of these boxes with a curve. So kind of sketch it in here. That's an idea. You know, we might go like that. That is the general shape of our histogram. So we need some vocabulary. We need some words to describe shape. So first we talk about the modes. And the options are unimodal, bimodal, or multimodal. Unimodal means one mode, just like a unicycle, one mode. Bimodal is 2. Multimodal is many, or really more than 2. So anything unimodal, this is unimodal. It's got one peak or one hump. And this we call the mode. It's really the point that has the tallest bar. Bimodal, a graph like that would look like 2 modes, and they don't have to be the same size, they don't have to be symmetric. That would be 2 modes. There would be a peak here and a peak there. So this is telling us the shape, part of the shape. 1 mode, 2 modes, or many modes, so it would have 3 or more. Anything like that. This would have several high points. Okay, so our graph is definitely unimodal. It's got one peak, one hump. So it is unimodal. And then we need to talk about whether it's symmetric or skewed. Okay, symmetric means, just like I drew this one symmetric, pretty close to symmetric, means it's the same on the left side and the right side. It could be unimodal or bimodal. More often we see unimodal things, so I'll draw kind of a symmetric. Your histogram won't always be exactly symmetric, but it might be roughly symmetric. There's the middle right there. If it's not symmetric, that means then there's more data pushed one way or the other. For example, this one doesn't look symmetric, does it? These two bars do, actually, and these are fairly close, but then we have more data on this side. So we have a longer tail on this side, so we say this is skewed to the left. So this one's unimodal and skewed to the left. So here we're talking about skewed to the left, so it's going to have a longer tail on the left. It's not symmetric. This one is going to be skewed to the right, so I'm going to put more of the data here, and then I'm going to really skew it out to the right. So you see where the longer tail is? That's the direction that we say it's skewed to. So skewed to the left, you could think of it as a points left, and this is skewed to the right. So those are the words we want to use to talk about shape. We want to say whether, how many modes it is, and whether it's symmetric or skewed, and which way. So that is the shape. Now we'll get into the center. And I'll come back to this mean less than median and mean greater than median. First we need to talk about the mean and the median. So let's go ahead and start talking about center. I'll move this up. We have three different ways to talk about center. Mean, median, and mode, and you've likely heard these before. Mode has to do with shape, but also center. So that's why it's in both places. So the mean is what you think of as the average. What you're used to calculating when you add all the numbers and divide by how many there are. The median is the middle. It's the middle number. Half are below and half are above. Now that's easier if you have an odd number of values, then there's one in the middle. So it's the single middle value. And we'll do this with our example in just a minute. If there's an even number of numbers, then there are going to be two in the middle. So we take those middle two and average them. So we average the middle two. Values. We have to put the numbers in order to find the middle one or the middle two. Then the mode, you may be familiar with calling it the most, or that is the most. So I'll write that, but we need to expand that definition a little bit. The mode is really the location of the highest bar. So I'm going to also say the center of the highest bar, or the center of the peak. So the center of the highest bar. So that's what the three measures of center are. Let's go back to our example and actually calculate these three for our test scores here. So it says for letter B here, arrange the grades in order. So we have to put the numbers in order. We don't need to find the mean, but we do for the median. So let's just do it. I've got to put these in order, so we got to go back again. So 49, there were two 49s if I remember, and I've got a different color so I can double underline them. Then we had two 50s. Where are they? 52 and 58. we had, I'm using my histogram to help me out here, we had 3 60s, 67, 66, 62. So 62, 66, 67. Get rid of those. Then we had 5 70s. So looks like 71 is next. 71, 73, 74, 75, 78. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 5 70s. '80s, we also had 5. I'm going to run out of room here. 81, 82. Yeah, looks like 81 is the lowest. 82. 84. It's okay, I'll just keep going down here. 85, 86. And 2 90s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep. 2 90s. 96. Okay, 91 and 96. Okay, so we've got our numbers in order. Let me just count. I think there should be 19 of them. 1, 2. Okay, yes, we got 19. Okay, so now that we have them, let's find the median. You can either, one way to do it is to underline the first and the last. First and the last, first and the last, first and the last. Or you can use your fingers, keep covering up until you get to the middle. There's also mathematical ways to calculate which is the middle position. Okay, 74, and because we have an odd number, we have 19 values. 74, there's a single number in the middle, and so the median is 74 points. I need to label my histogram. I need to put points on here. Okay. Units are very important. We always want to put units on our statistics. Okay, so now let's find the mean. The mean is the average. So we're going to add all these up. Got my calculator here. Let's just add them up. Do this too and check me. Okay, so I got 1,379 for the total, and it's good to write down the total to show your work, because let's say you just were off by a number or two, you miskeyed something. I would know you did it right. You knew what you were doing, and you would get a lot of partial credit for that. Now we're going to divide by 19 because there are 19 numbers. And we get 72.578. Let's round to the 10th place. So because this is a 7, that'll bump that up. 72.6 points. Okay, so we've got our mean, our median, and now let's find the mode. Okay, this is where we get to talk about the two different definitions or interpretations of mode. Often you'll learn the mode is the number that occurs the most. So if we scan through and see what number appears the most, there's actually only one that's duplicated, and that's 49. So the score of 49 happened the most. It occurred twice. Also the lowest score. Let's go back to our histogram up here. And what's interesting is the 49 is not near the peak. In fact, it's furthest away from the peak. So once we learn how to graph, how to make histograms, the mode is actually better to think of it as the center of the highest bar, because so these are the same. So actually I would call 80 the mode. I would say it's about 80. What's going on is there are a lot more scores around 80 than there are around 49. It's just that two people happen to get exactly the same score of 49, but that wasn't a very popular score. Way more people actually scored from 70 to 90, and in fact about half, because it's 5 and 5, so that's 10. About half the class is between 70 and 90. So I would say the mode is 80. So the mode is 80. So be careful about that if you're used to finding the most, the number that occurs the most. 80 points, the center of the peak. Okay, so we've got our mean, median, and mode. And the way these numbers come out will also tell us something about the shape. So I want to go back, do a little bit more about shape here in this video. Okay, so this histogram here, this distribution is symmetric. So the mean would go right in the middle, right? So the mean is going to be approximately equal to the mode and the median. At least pretty close. In real life, they might not be exact, but they should be pretty close. If it's skewed, then that's not the case, right? So if it's skewed, here's our mode. That's the center of the peak, right? And here, let's say here's our mode over here. And then the median is the middle. That's the halfway point. So see how it looks like there's more space, more area on this side than there is on this side? So the middle would be the point where half the values are below and half the values are above. So the median would be a little bit further over. Similarly, on something that's right skewed, you can see there's more area over here than there is over here. So the median would be a little bit to the right. Now let's look at ours. So our histogram is skewed to the left, and our mode is 80. So I'm going to get a different color here. Our mode is 80, and where is our median? So the median was 74, so that makes perfect sense. The median is, here's 75, it's about right there. Just squeeze it in there. There's our median. And then what happens is the average, it goes even further down towards the tail. If you think of the right skewed is the easiest to explain on this one. The right skewed, if you have some folks, let's say it's income, some people making really high incomes and you average them all together, they're going to pull the average way up. Or in this case, in the test scores, the folks who got 49, they would pull the average down. And so let's see, our mean is 72.6, so it is lower than the median. So 72.6, I'm going to have to draw it right, an arrow right in there, that's our mean. So the mode and then the median is further towards the tail, and then the mean is even further towards the tail. So let's draw that. They always go in this order. Because it's how the data is distributed. So when we have test scores that are skewed to the left, that means we have more lower scores. That's why it is skewed to the left, because we have more data down here. And so those lower scores will pull the mean down. We still had a good number of people between 70 and 90, so that's why the mode is higher. And then that's also why the median is higher, because half the people scored above, in this case, 74 points, and half the people scored below 74 points. Okay, so that is all about shape and center. And so we will keep going in future videos. This up a little bit. In future videos we'll do spread, and then we'll talk about how center and spread go together, and then we'll also talk about outliers. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.